Awesome. Well, welcome everyone. Thanks a lot for joining us today. Really excited to have Mark from the xBTC team joining us today. The discussion today is going to be centered around decentralized oracles, meeting the need of Rebase applications, DeFi, the real novel architecture of xBTC, how Chainlink fits into that, and what's next on their future product roadmap. We'll be getting into a lot of these details. The agenda is going to be Q&A structure for about 20 to 30 minutes. I'll make sure to drop any links that we talk about in the description below. And if you have questions, definitely drop them into the chat and we'll do our best to get to them. If not, definitely come into both of our channels and feel free to ask them there. Otherwise, yeah, Mark, again, thanks a lot for joining us. Really excited.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. Excited to be here. Excited to be working with Chainlink. Thank you everyone for tuning in and taking the time.
Yeah, cool. So I guess to start, do you want to just introduce yourself, your background, and what xBTC is and what you're building?
Yeah, for sure. So I really started in crypto about 2011 or so. It was really just a fan then, and we don't call them investors, but a user back then. I was buying a lot of altcoins and Bitcoin itself, and really getting into the space. It really became an evangelist for the larger concept of decentralizing finance and decentralizing structures of government and control. The finance is a central pillar to any government, and so decentralize that and giving it to the people is really my first passion for Bitcoin, which I'm sure a lot of people were the same, and then really stayed in the space and stayed active, through the 2017 bull run, and I'm still holding many of my heavy bags from then. And then in this last year, really started to engage with projects directly, more directly than in the past. Had always been a community member or a fan. But in this last year, really started helping people with white papers, with visioning, with product design. And then kind of, once you see behind the curtain and see how these products are made and created, see the networks that exist and start getting into those networks, you start, ideating yourself and meeting really cool people and people who are building really cool things and people who are highly skilled. And so I was lucky enough to meet my co-founder, Atash, and we started just kicking around ideas and thinking about what could be built on blockchain and what could be the next step and what could change how we view finance, how we view blockchain. So we really came to this. We saw a lot of rebasing tokens that were trying to use rebasing and get interesting novel concepts with rebasing. It got really big with Ample in July and June as they went on their large run. And so it was all the rage to be thinking about rebasing. But as we thought of different things to rebase to, rebasing to prices just didn't fascinate us. If you rebase to the price of Link, which there actually is a coin that does that, then if you want to access that price action, you just buy the underlying asset if you want to. And so that was the first aha moment, was then, okay, well then what can you not buy on the open market that you would want rebasing to give you a number that you can use on the open market? And so that was the first, aha. And then we started building it and we said, can we build this? And then we worked with our CTO, we found people to build, and we found out it was possible. It does create some very new and interesting tokenomics and a very new idea of really taking a novel number and being able to put it on the blockchain, and anybody can trade and use that number however they want to create whatever hedge or bet they want to create. And so that was kind of the impetus of xBTC, and we'll get more into the inner workings of it, but that was kind of the first thoughts.
Very cool. Yeah, thanks for sharing. And when I first read about you guys when you guys first launched, it's very fascinating because everything has always been to $1 or rebasing to some sort of underlying price. And so this is definitely first of its kind. So hats off to you guys. I think for the audience too, because there's still some of this confusion out there and people are like, what in the world is rebasing? Do you want to maybe just break down what rebasing is for everyone?
Yeah. I mean, at the simplest form, right? If I have, I mean, if you look at a store and there's 10 apples in the store and each apple is $1, and you want to lower the price of apples, then you throw 50 more apples into the store, and then it lowers your price to 50 cents or whatever it may be. So you increase that supply to reduce the price, and vice versa. If your 10 apples are $1 and you want to make them more expensive because you're the shop owner, maybe you hide 5 of those apples and there's only 5 apples out there, only 1 apple. You hide all 9 apples. And if there's only 1 apple, someone's going to pay whatever you charge them because there's only 1 apple. So you've lowered the supply. So basic supply and demand. What's great about blockchain technology is that you can actually change the supply of tokens without taking away tokens from someone or without giving them tokens. So everybody's tokens are actually just a percentage of the overall. So if there's 100 tokens in the world and I hold 1 token, I hold 1% of all the tokens in the world. If we change the number to 1,000, then I now hold 10 tokens. My 1% is now 10 instead of 1. And so that what the rebasing does is just change the global supply. So your percentage of it is different, but the open market price is changing with that change in global supply because of automatic market makers and how exchanges work. The price changes, but your percentage of market cap stays the same. And so rebasing allows you to change supply without using any gas or using any transactions on the network. And change the supply to change the price. But everybody who's holding the token doesn't actually lose value or gain value through that rebasing. They lose or gain it through the market making actions against that rebasing and against where the supply will change. And so there's honestly no easy way. I'm sure even through that example and through that explanation, people are still like, wait, what is rebasing? But the simple part of it is you change the supply of the token to change the market price. And what you want the market price to be is up to you. Ours is immutable and written into the smart contract. We will always make the market price Bitcoin dominance. And so someone else can choose it's called the peg, can choose their peg to be whatever they want and push the market price to be that price, whatever they want it to be on the open market.
Awesome. No, I love that analogy with the apples. I think that's probably one of the most clear examples of rebasing that I've heard. So yeah, thanks for that. I assume that decentralized oracles are very important for this. And what is like the time? Like when does something get rebased? Is it like on a daily basis, weekly basis, and how does that kind of play?
Yeah, we rebase every day, once a day, at the same time every day, and that's really helpful for larger traders or for institutions. We really want to be an institutional tool that can be used by anyone and can be trusted. And so by having the same rebase every day at the same time, we really allow people to trust the product, know what they're getting, know how to trade it, know how to use it. And so every day, once a day at 000 UTC, we do the rebase and adjust the supply to try to push the market towards the price of Bitcoin dominance. So if Bitcoin dominance is 67%, we try to push the price to 67 cents.
Got it. And so if Bitcoin dominance is rising, then the supply would get smaller, right? And then vice versa, opposite?
Actually opposite. So as the price goes up, as the Bitcoin dominance goes up, let's say the market price is at 50 cents and Bitcoin dominance says 67 cents. We need to push the price up. So we're going to reduce supply down here at 50 cents. If the Bitcoin price is $2 and the xBTC price is $2 and the Bitcoin dominance is 67 cents, then we need to send more supply to users to try to push that price down. So it's more about where the market price is versus Bitcoin dominance. So Bitcoin dominance going up or down changes where it is in relation to the peg, but you also need to know where the peg is to know if supply is going up or down. Because if the peg is at $2, Bitcoin dominance will never be 200%. So we will always send more supply regardless of if Bitcoin dominance goes up or down. But if it goes up, the amount of supply we send people is less because it's closer to the peg. So it all depends on how close the peg is. And if the peg is above, we send more supply to users. If the peg is below, we reduce the supply for users.
Got it. Yeah. Thanks for that explanation. That makes a lot of sense. And so to find that price, how does Chainlink fit into all this and decentralized oracles?
Yeah, I mean so obviously our data feed is essential, right? And we need that to be secure and we need it to be accurate. And so as we were looking at Oracle providers, Chainlink really has an amazing curated list of node providers that they have vetted, and they can name who their providers are and know exactly what they're doing and what technology they're using. And really in working with the Chainlink team, we really just saw that quality of vetting of each of the node operators. And then also, so they go to each node operator, they say, what API are you using? We want to make sure you're using a diverse API from other people. And then which data source are you pulling from? We want to make sure there's a diverse data set coming into the Oracle. And so with Chainlink, that shoulder to shoulder work, we came to them and we said, here's our idea, here's what we have, we're rebasing to Bitcoin dominance. The team said, wow, that's really cool, let's do it. And that was amazing to see. Chainlink, a top 5 project on most days, is listening to our wants, listening to our needs, changing to what we need to build, and actually building something from scratch. And not charging us to do it. They're just like, yeah, that's really cool, let's build that Oracle. That doesn't exist. There isn't a Bitcoin dominance Oracle, let's do it. And so the quality of the feed of data that we're getting, that responsiveness of the team and being able to choose every parameter of it. And really our CTO worked directly with the Chainlink devs to build it from scratch. And we built something brand new, which is really awesome. And so all of that combined is really shows how incredible of a platform and a product Chainlink is to enable any other product to become better through working with Chainlink. And it made our data feed better and our reliability and our security all better through that just one relationship.
Cool. Yeah, we really appreciate that. And it's been great working with you as well. And, it's exciting what you guys are working on. And so, easy to do that.
Right.
Within like the future of rebasing apps kind of in general, where do you see oracles playing a role within the future of rebasing tokens?
Yeah, it's definitely, what we've created is something brand new. I mean, the simplest definition of it is a open market price on Bitcoin dominance. You can actually buy Bitcoin dominance on the open market, and that is new and interesting, and who knows where that goes. But if we think people want to trade Bitcoin dominance, then that is good to have on the open market. But through using an Oracle and through using rebasing, we've completely decentralized the process and taken away anything that is usually layered on top of what you would call kind of a synthetic derivative or a synthetic options contract on Bitcoin dominance. So by being decentralized, by being in DeFi, there is no KYC, there's no signing up for a platform, there's no margin calls, there's no strike date. A lot of these things that exist with traditional derivatives and traditional synthetics. You don't have to stake a bunch of tokens and then go into a platform and buy a bunch of tokens. There's no extra layers here. You just buy the open market price of Bitcoin dominance, and then you hold it and wait. And so it's the simplest form of a synthetic, of a derivative that you can create. It's completely open market. And it's, looking at oracles, it's the purest expression of an oracle, right? You take that oracle feed and you directly mainline it into the tokenomics of a coin. So it's basically the expression of the oracle on the open market. And so this specific implementation is a really fascinating structure. And I think there's a lot of different avenues that you could go down of like different data that you can rebase to and create a coin with economics that are directly tied to any data stream because of oracles and because of blockchain technology.
Great. Yeah, no, that's very interesting and perspective of where this could all go. With xBTC, who are some of your competitors and how would you compare xBTC to them?
Yeah, we're definitely in a league of our own in one sense, right? There's nobody that we've seen so far that rebases to a novel data, a data oracle that is not easily tradable on the open market. And so most rebase to a certain price point. And I think the biggest and easiest example obviously is Ampleforth and Ample. And, if you take a look at Ample, what they're rebasing to is a 2019 dollar. So they're giving you the open market price on 2019 CPI adjusted dollar. And so when you really drill down into that, what you're really seeing is Ample is really a spot price on the 2019 dollar. They're providing an open market price on that. xBTC is providing a spot price on Bitcoin dominance. And then Ample, because of that, is really a synthetic 2019 dollar. Like it's a 2019 dollar that you can trade and use, but there's no actual collateralization. There's no actually US dollars that are sitting in a bank somewhere for every Ample that's in the world. So it's a synthetic 2019 dollar. And the same for us. There's no Bitcoin dominance sitting in a vault somewhere. We're just a synthetic of Bitcoin dominance. And so when you look at that for Ample, it creates a really new age reserve type currency that is synthetic and pegged to this 2019 dollar. And for Bitcoin, for xBTC, it creates this synthetic new age, new wave derivative or options contract on Bitcoin dominance. And so really there's that corollary there of they're both creating a synthetic of something that you can't easily find. But ours is, what we like about xBTC is it is integrated into digital assets. We think our number is a number that is highly relevant to digital asset users and traders and possibly larger institutions who want to think about Bitcoin dominance. But not use an options contract, not be locked into a strike date, not be locked into a platform, not trust a third party. There's no trusted third party in ours. It's all the smart contract that's doing the rebasing and the structuring of pushing everything towards Bitcoin dominance. And so although there's the corollary of rebasing and the peg, what we're pegging to, nobody else is doing that and creating this new idea of a synthetic or derivative. And so that's exciting. But at the same time, Ample has proven that there's a large demand and a want for these synthetics through rebasing. And they kind of prove it's a proof of concept. And so we just took it one step further and said, well, what's more interesting than a 2019 dollar? And the same for Ampleforth. They'll say it themselves, right? They looked at Bitcoin and said, what's one thing we could change about Bitcoin to make it more interesting as a currency? And they changed the supply, made the supply elastic. And so we looked at Ampleforth and said, what's one thing we can change to make Ampleforth more interesting? And it was changing the peg. The 2019 dollar isn't, directly threaded into digital assets and digital asset users. And so if we change it to a number that is important and that you can't trade right now, like there's literally, I'm sure FTX is working on it right now, and there'll soon be an options contract or a derivative on Bitcoin dominance. But as of now, there's nowhere you can trade Bitcoin dominance. We are the only place you can go to access the action of Bitcoin dominance. And so that's really exciting for us.
Cool. No, yeah, I really think you guys are onto something big here, with like tokenizing these real world assets or tokenizing these real world things, and being able to tie them using an oracle, bring them in. And we were kind of talking before of like, okay, like what are some other like rebasing things that you can like sit there and be able to do? And that, you kind of open up a whole can of rebasing things that are possible. So it's really fascinating and really cool taking it one step further, and with that, like what is next on like the xBTC roadmap, and what are you currently focusing on?
Yeah, so we're really focusing on like longevity and sorry, one second, I gotta switch out my microphone. Sorry about that, my headphone died. But we're really focusing on longevity and stability, and really being something that is here for a long time and really building a strong foundation. And, looking at our predecessors and people who have come before us, they've done a lot of the same and have really, created this large base to build from, whether it be information for new users to read and see, whether it be spreading to really mainstream news. Myself, I came from being a fan of digital assets to a founder, and now we have multiple partnerships and with fund with Mooniswap and 1inch. We've partnered with these big guys and are really working to spread. We've been, featured on Forbes and MarketWatch and Yahoo Finance, and we're really trying to get to that more mainstream niche. I think there's a lot of happenings on Reddit and 4chan and Telegram, and all those are really important, and those social networks are essential to that growth and that hype cycle. But we really want to create that larger understanding of what we provide and what we are, and really build out a larger foundation. And so we're partnering with some marketing firms and making sure that we're spreading to more mainstream sources. And then on the product line, it's really about we are as synthetic as you can be, and there's a lot of benefits to that. An options contract for Tesla for a January call will trade back and forth between people thousands of times and create thousands of dollars in value without actually anybody using it, right? A Robinhood trader very rarely actually calls their options contract. It actually buys those 100 shares of Tesla. And so that value is created out of synthetic trading back and forth of no actual use of the underlying asset. And so being 100% synthetic is very interesting, provides a lot of benefits, but we are looking into ways to make it less synthetic, whether it be integrating on some other chains, integrating with some exchanges, integrating in interesting ways. But we're still up in the air on whether or not we even want to do that, because there's a huge benefit to being completely synthetic. But even through automatic market making and through DEXs, we are collateralized with Ethereum and with any other asset you put into a liquidity pool with xBTC. That will always stay at 50-50. And so our pool, of $800,000 and $400,000 is Ethereum, $400,000 is xBTC. If Ethereum doubles in value, then it needs to rebalance to 50-50, and that will pull up xBTC's price. And so we are semi-collateralized, which is another interesting feature of, we are very much like a traditional derivative where there's some collateralization there. The traditional derivatives market is, valued at trillions upon trillions, like hundreds of trillions. But the actual value is maybe 12 trillion of the entire options market. And so the real value versus the notional value is very different. And there's a benefit to that for use on the larger market. And so looking at that, we really want to build out the collateralization through multiple liquidity pools. And so you'll see us building some new and interesting and technologically forward-looking pools coming up here, hopefully within the next month. And then also looking to build more different liquidity pools with different tokens. So we become more collateralized to more different assets instead of our main focus is Ethereum, and will continue to be for the short term. But medium term to long term, we want to diversify and be collateralized through multiple different tokens. So we become even more directly tied to altcoin dominance going up, because that's the other side of Bitcoin dominance. If altcoin dominance is going up, Bitcoin dominance is going down, and xBTC is doing more positive rebases and sending more supply to users and rewarding them through that supply increase. And so by tying to even more altcoins, we more tangibly tie to real world altcoin movement.
Got it. Yeah, no, that's really exciting stuff. And I think that education piece is huge too in what you're saying, and hopefully this video helps too, and you can share around. But the day is going to come when that Bitcoin dominance is not going to be at that all-time highs, and it's going to be coming down, and the history has shown. So there's definitely a bright future ahead, and really exciting. I think lost Mark.
Oh, I'm still here. Are you? Oh, can you hear me?
Yep, there we go. Now you're back. Right. Cool. Yeah, no, that education piece, but yeah, really exciting stuff coming in the future. So yeah.
Yeah, people still don't understand definitely completely what rebasing does. And, you saw with Ampleforth, it took them almost a year to really get people to understand, like, this is what the coin is actually doing and why it exists. And so we're in it for the long haul. We know it may take, months, if not a year, to really make people understand, like, this is why rebasing to a novel oracle is different than just rebasing to a price. And here's what it allows you to access and how it's different and how it's more beneficial than just rebasing to a price.
Cool. If people want to follow your progress and join your community, where's the best place for them to go?
Yeah, our Telegram or our Twitter, you can just search xBTC official on Twitter. I can put a hyperlink right now, or xBTC official on Telegram, and then also there will be links to all of our socials on Chainlink's website too, wherever you found this video.
Cool. Well, I'll make sure to drop all those links for everyone who's listening in the description below. Video should be up in about an hour. Mark, is there anything else before we take off here that maybe we didn't touch upon that you want to add?
No, I guess I'll just end with just a summary to the education point. XBT simply put is just an open market price on Bitcoin dominance, and it's completely open market and decentralized. And I think that's why we were such big fans of it. Is it speaks to the ethos of digital assets and of cryptocurrency, like this decentralization of financial instruments and tools, and a creation of something brand new that didn't exist before. And so really being able to trade Bitcoin dominance is why we're here and why we think it's interesting. And so, yeah, we hope you check it out and look into it, and we'll be around in our telegrams, and always happy to answer questions, or you can DM us on LinkedIn or Telegram, and we'll always respond. So yeah, thank you everybody for your engagement, and we're excited to see the future.
Cool. Well, thanks a lot, Mark. Really appreciate you coming on, and thanks community, everyone who's listening in. Again, I'll make sure to drop all those links. If you enjoyed the video, definitely hit the like button, give us a follow, and a subscribe, and there'll be more videos coming out over the coming weeks. And yeah, really excited to see your progress at xBTC, Mark, and everything that you guys are doing.
Definitely. Thank you, Keenan, and thank you, Chainlink, and thanks everybody for watching. And yeah, hope to see you in our Telegram.
Cool. Thanks, everyone.